If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news and information, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. There is a link for them in the description box below. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABO sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Trump administration preparing to ban nearly all flavored e-cigarettes from the market. The only flavor they're going to keep on the market, for now at least, is the tobacco flavor e-cigarette. And the reason for that is because a lot of adults will use that flavor to wean themselves off of traditional combustible cigarettes. Now, I got to back up a little bit here to explain why this announcement is coming right now and what their intentions are with the ban. First things first, most of the flavored e-cigarettes with stuff like grape and strawberry and mango and peach, they are targeted towards children. That is a very simple fact. Don't tell me that it's not. It's clear. I am a marketer. Been a marketer for a long time. It's in my blood. Dad was in marketing. Granddad was in marketing. It's just kind of a normal thing for me to do, to understand how to attract attention and also how to boost up products. That's just part of what I do. I've worked in marketing. I know a marketing campaign when I see one. When you have these products packaged a certain kind of way, you know, they got them in certain spots at the gas station where kids are going to be able to see it pretty clearly. And when I say kids, I mean middle school, high school. That's pretty much what they're trying to aim at. All right. They're seeing something that's like a cigarette, but at the same time, it's not. You know, the whole vaping thing. Oh, it's just vape. It's not a cigarette. No, yes, it is a cigarette. These devices are nicotine delivering devices. Usually, there may be a case where you don't have a nicotine system in the e-cigarette, but that is the whole point. They're e-cigarettes. They're going to be nicotine delivering devices. The difference between a combustible cigarette and the vape pens is that you can easily do little tricks with the vape, and they got flavors. They got, you know, all these sweet little things that kids will like. Okay, that's a big part of the marketing campaign to kids. You also have these individuals online called influencers, and they look like the kids themselves, 16, 17 years old. They have these big Instagram accounts, and many times they're sponsored by these companies like Juul. Now, I can't say that Juul is specifically sponsoring a person that's underage to be on Instagram doing vape tricks, but that's kind of what's going on here. All right. And the problem is these kids are becoming addicted. It has become an epidemic. There was a press conference about this. If you want to check it out for yourself, I'll place that in the description box below. But in that press conference, Azar, the Health and Human Services Secretary, came out and said that there are 8 million adults that use vape pens, e-cigarettes, whatever you want to call it. But there's also 5 million children that use these devices. It's a very high number. It's way too many. Kids are becoming addicted at an epidemic rate. The whole thing with tobacco and the fight against that was to prevent generations from thinking that it was okay to smoke cigarettes, because we see what the damages are of that, especially in a developing world. Kids with all kind of crazy lung problems and just deformities, really crazy, when you don't have the healthcare system to be able to combat it. Even if you do, who wants to have lung cancer when they get to be 35 years old? Or the quote unquote mysterious illness is going around right now. I think I saw where the 5th or 6th person has died from this quote unquote mysterious vaping disease or disorder. And it's almost like 500 cases of this that could lead to death around the country right now. So not only do you have these kids underage being marketed to, being hooked on these e-cigarettes through the nicotine, they are also at risk for a health problem, as are many adults. Okay, now some would say, oh, they don't want to take off the tobacco flavored e-cigarette right now because that's where the money is at. They don't want to really ruin the cash. But they were saying in the press conference, and again, I placed that in the box, the focus is children. They are going to the fruity flavors, thinking it's cool, looking at their favorite vapor on Instagram, trying to emulate what they're doing. Okay, you get kids that are going into the bathroom in school, vaping. And the problem is not only the nicotine, but also the flavors themselves. These are chemicals. So you're boiling these chemicals and you're inhaling it. That can't be good for your lungs. And then some of these kids will transition away from the vape and get into regular combustible traditional cigarettes. That's also not good for your lungs because of the smoke inhalation that is much more damaging than the vape. Either way it goes, vaping is a really big problem with kids, and this directive aims to get rid of that. They also said that they'll take away the tobacco flavored e-cig if that becomes a problem with kids experimenting with that. You know, they want to have a nice line of being able to provide a thing that can help somebody wean themselves off of tobacco, but at the same time, they don't want the health benefits of a tobacco flavored e-cigarette to not really be worth it. If those e-cigarettes are causing a lot of problems and they're causing more than what they solve, go ahead and get rid of it as well. Some would say, oh, it's not a good thing. You should be for liberty and let people do whatever they want to do. But I mean, come on, we're talking about kids here. You got to protect them. It's very simple. Nobody's saying get rid of cigarettes. Personally, I think that they should, but that's just me. Nobody's saying get rid of that. People are talking about these vaping devices that have a lot of kids hooked. And it's very clear that they are being hooked at an alarming rate, much more than regular combustible cigarettes. It seems as if big tobacco or other tobacco industries have found a way to get into that young and impressionable market that they had really been banned away from a very long time. So hopefully this whole thing works and we get rid of these devices from the market. It needs to be an industry that's more regulated than what it is, because right now it's like the wild, wild west. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be basically 16 years old with a hot Instagram account showing you vaping and basically being an ambassador for other products. You don't want that to be the case, because all you're going to do is just attract kids to get hooked on these products, and who knows what they're actually inhaling. The nicotine is one thing that gets them hooked, but when they're hooked, they're inhaling these chemicals, and who knows what that is. It was the same issue with K2. And I think I saw like over 20 people overdose on K2 in one morning in one neighborhood in New York. You don't want to have the same thing going on with Juul, not from an overdose, but from physical health, long-term. You know, you got these kids, 16, 17 years old, already developing cancer, diseases that can't really be fought because people don't know what's really going on. Get a handle on the whole crisis behind underage vaping, nicotine addiction, and also drug addiction beyond the vaping. And I think that will be a good thing for America. If you are a proponent of drugs, I challenge you to tell me how this worked out for San Francisco, California, Los Angeles, San Diego, Orange County, Free Outer Washington, Portland, Oregon, many left coast places which have pretty much decriminalized drugs. Do you want to live there? Do you want to basically do the cha-cha slide and the Macarena and the heel toe around needles and the human poop? I don't think that you do, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that it was a good idea for the administration to put a ban on these flavored e-cigarettes to protect children? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is it a bad idea? Is it, drug control and tough on drugs, the drug war just ramped up? Are you not a fan of that? How do you feel about the vaping related illnesses that's going on right now? What do we do about that? People say they don't really know what's happening. It's kind of mysterious. What is a solution to the illness? If you think that we should not regulate the vaping industry, how do we put a lid on all the new illness that has come as a result? People are dying and everything else. If you have an epidemic of children being hooked on these particular devices, it's only a matter of time before you start to see an uptick in deaths of these children, 16, 17 years old, vaping in high school, messing around and die. You got to be able to do something, because if you do nothing, then it's like, okay, blood on your hands. That's going to be the general narrative. For adults, it's one thing. Okay, that's why Alex, what's the man's name? Azar said, he doesn't want to ban the tobacco flavored ones because he knows that adults are using that for a particular reason. It's the ones that are marketed to kids, the flavored e-cigarettes. We got to put a tight lid on to prevent them from becoming addicted to cigarettes in the future, and also to protect their health. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.